Drever slowly lowered itself to one knee. The entire academy remained silent. Kellen watched carefully. The predator's enormous face was now only a few meters away. Drever extended one hand. The smallest cub immediately ran toward it. Kellen expected the creature to grab the cub. Instead, Drever gently touched its forehead to the little one's head. The cub chirped happily. Another cub jumped onto Drever's arm. The third climbed onto Kellen's toolbox. Kellen stared at them. Seriously? The cub looked at him. Kellen pointed toward the floor. Get down! The cub ignored him. Kellen sighed. Great. I've become a father. One of the academy instructors slowly approached. Her name was Professor Nixera Vale, an elegant alien scientist with silver skin and violet eyes. She stared at Kellen. You have been caring for the offspring of a Varkeshian prime? Kellen shrugged. Apparently. For how long? 6 hours. Nixera blinked. 6 hours? Yeah. You understand that Varkeshian parents are among the most territorial organisms in known space? Kellen looked at Drever. Then at the cubs. Then back at Nixera. Honestly, I've dated people with worse territorial issues. Nixera's expression became confused. You dated territorial organisms? No. Humans. She stared at him. Kellen smiled. Long story. Drever suddenly growled. Kellen looked over. Relax, big guy. The predator growled again. Kellen pointed at him. No threatening the professor. Everyone stared. The most feared predator in the galaxy had just been told off by a human mechanic. And somehow, it listened. Nixera looked stunned. You command it? No. Kellen shook his head. We're negotiating. Negotiating? Yeah. How? Kellen pointed toward the cubs. I give them food. They don't destroy my apartment. Drever tilted its head. Kellen added, It's basically a relationship. Nixera almost smiled. That is not how relationships work. Kellen looked at her. Have you ever lived with someone? Nixera hesitated. No. Then trust me. The Academy's emergency system suddenly announced. Warning. Secondary predator detected. Everyone turned. A massive Varkeshian warbeast appeared at the far end of the corridor. This one was larger than Drever. Its armor was black. Its eyes glowed red. And it was carrying a military spear. Nixera whispered, That's impossible. Kellen looked at Drever. Drever stood. The cubs immediately hid behind Kellen again. Kellen grabbed his toolbox. Okay. Nixera asked. What are you doing? Parent-teacher conference. You cannot fight that creature with a toolbox. Kellen opened it. Inside were cables, magnetic clamps, welding equipment, and several suspiciously heavy metal objects. He smiled. I never said I was going to fight it. Nixera raised an eyebrow. What are you going to do? Kellen looked at the approaching predator. I'm going to annoy it. The second Varkeshian charged. Students scattered. Security drones launched. Drever roared and stepped between the attacker and the cubs. Kellen grabbed the nearest maintenance cable. He ran. Not away. Toward the predator. Nixera shouted, Kellen! He jumped onto a railing, swung around a support beam, and landed behind the creature. Then he attached a magnetic clamp to its armor. The machine activated. BZZZZZZT. The predator froze. Kellen smiled. Good morning. The creature turned its head. Kellen immediately ran. Okay, bad morning. Drever attacked. The two giant predators collided in the center of the academy. The impact shook the entire building. Kellen grabbed the cubs. Come on, tiny nightmares. The cubs followed him. Nixera ran beside him. What exactly is your plan? Kellen looked serious. Survive. That's not a plan. It is for humans. They reached the Academy's central reactor chamber. Kellen stopped. Nixera stared at him. Why are we here? Kellen pointed at the reactor. Because Varkeshian armor responds to electromagnetic pulses. Nixera's eyes widened. You want to overload the reactor? Absolutely not. Good. I'm going to use the maintenance system. Nixera stared. That is somehow worse. Kellen connected his toolbox to the control panel. The system rejected him. Access denied? Kellen frowned. Really? He typed again. Access denied? Kellen sighed. You know what? I hate authority. Nixera laughed despite herself. You are ridiculous. Kellen looked at her. You're smiling. She stopped. I am not. You are. I am absolutely not. You like me. Nixera stared at him. You are covered in grease, you are being chased by alien predators, and your shirt has a hole in it. Kellen smiled. And yet you're still talking to me. She rolled her eyes. Perhaps I enjoy terrible decisions. Finally. Something we have in common. Before she could answer, Drever crashed into the chamber. The giant predator landed on the floor. Behind it came the second Varkeshian. Kellen immediately moved the cubs behind him. Drever roared. The cubs answered with tiny squeaks. Kellen looked down. Guys, that's adorable, but maybe don't challenge the 3-meter murder machine. One cub growled. Kellen nodded. Fair point. Drever attacked again. The battle shook the reactor chamber. Kellen finally noticed something. The second predator wasn't attacking Drever. It was trying to reach the cubs. Kellen's expression changed. That's not a predator. Nixera looked at him. What? That's a hunter. The creature had come for the children. Drever wasn't attacking the academy. It was protecting its family. Kellen looked at Nixera. Can you shut down the reactor? She nodded. Yes. Can you redirect the electromagnetic field? Possibly. Can you do it without killing everyone? Nixera smiled. Probably. Kellen stared at her. That's the most romantic thing anyone has ever said to me. She laughed. Focus! Kellen activated the maintenance grid. The entire chamber filled with blue light. The second predator suddenly froze. Its armor shut down. It collapsed. Drever stood over it. Then slowly turned toward Kellen. For several seconds, nobody moved. Drever approached. Kellen swallowed. The predator lowered its enormous head. Then, it touched its forehead against Kellen's. The translation system activated. You protected my children. Kellen smiled. Yeah. Drever continued. You are family. Kellen looked at Nixera. Do I get a family discount? Nixera laughed. Drever growled. Kellen immediately raised his hands. Joke. Just a joke. The alarm screamed through the corridors of Aurelia Prime Academy, a massive interspecies training facility orbiting Earth. Students from more than 200 worlds were supposed to be learning diplomacy, engineering, combat strategy, and survival. Instead, everyone was learning the same lesson. Run first. Ask questions later. The creature entering the academy was called a Varkeshian Prime. Its name was Drever. Drever stood nearly 3 meters tall, with dark blue skin, 4 powerful arms, razor-like claws, and silver markings glowing across its body. Its eyes were designed to detect movement from kilometers away. And according to every military database in the galaxy, Varkeshian Primes had only one emotional setting. Destroy. Drever slammed through the academy's security doors. Students screamed. Robotic guards opened fire. The creature roared. Then something unexpected happened. A human mechanic stepped into the corridor. His name was Kellen Voss. He wore a dirty maintenance uniform, carried a toolbox, and looked extremely annoyed. He stared at the enormous alien. Then at the broken door. Then back at the alien. You know, Kellen said, that door was expensive. Everyone froze. One security officer whispered, Is that human insane? Another answered, He's human. That's close enough. Kellen slowly moved backward. Behind him were 3 tiny blue alien creatures. They were Varkeshian cubs. Their enormous black eyes stared nervously at Drever. Kellen had found them earlier that morning inside an abandoned maintenance tunnel. They had been cold, hungry, and terrified. So naturally, Kellen had done what humans apparently did when confronted with dangerous alien wildlife. He adopted them. He had given them food. He had repaired a broken ventilation unit for them. And now they were hiding behind his legs. Kellen looked down. "Stay behind me," one cub chirped. "Yes, I know you're scared." Another cub grabbed his pant leg. Kellen sighed. "Guys, I'm scared too." Across the corridor, Drever suddenly stopped. Its claws lowered. Its forearms became completely still. Its eyes locked onto the cubs. The entire academy waited for the attack. Kellen swallowed. "Okay," he whispered. "This is either going to be very good, or extremely bad for my dental plan." Drever took one step forward. Kellen raised his hands. "Easy." The giant predator sniffed the air. Then it looked at the cubs again. One tiny cub slowly stepped from behind Kellen. Drever's face changed. Not anger. Not hunger. Something else. Fear. The predator whispered a word in its ancient language. "Karuan." Kellen frowned. "What does that mean?" The Academy's translation system activated. "My children." Silence filled the corridor. Kellen looked down at the cubs. Then at Drever. Then back at the cubs. "Oh." He smiled awkwardly. "Well, this is awkward."